Hello. I'm starting stream now. Hi. Ended up starting really late today, and I'm not happy about it, but it is what it is. That happens. Anyways, I'm gonna be starting Phantasy Star 2. I was debating, and honestly, sadly to say, I was debating even up to start stream what to go with, and it's like, I don't exactly want to just blitz through the Phantasy Star games, but that just feels like what's going to happen, so... I guess I just have to make do. Right. I'm gonna need to get used to the control scheme again. Okay. I was also thrown for a loop because I was busy trying to get... I was trying to figure out how to set up the mod to just... that improvement mod, because I was just sitting around trying to figure that out because I was stumped about something. Ended up figuring it out, thankfully. The entire start segment here is rather, yeah. Okay. So yeah. Let me just sit back and think. What am I doing here then? Okay. They're both right, yeah. But yeah, basically right. I'm trying to think what to even to touch on, but yeah. The biggest surprise, if you remember Phantasy Star 1, is this is Matavia, the desert planet, so... They've gone pretty crazy with the terraforming. Why am I so speechless now? and someone telling you outright, oh, when you get to a new area, come back here and go home, which is an extremely important thing. Just running around town, checking with the NPCs to see if they have anything to say. Ethical lab. Is this the fast travel? Yeah, this is the fast travel place. And what was it? Over here. Storage, library. Crap. I'm never gonna get used to this. Curse you, Genesis / Mega Drive, for having that 3-button control. For having like the 3 buttons. It is surprisingly hard for my brain to properly parse what to do with that. Probably because it's also hard for me to keep track of which button does what. History. This planet used to be a desert, but with the advent of Mother Brain, Batavia has become lush with greenery. The terraforming was based on meticulous plans. Mother Brain also created things like the Biosystems Lab, the Climatrol, and more. Is there anything else you'd like to know? Yes. The Biosystems Lab is where creatures suitable to live on Batavia are created through breed improvements. All DNA data of Algol are stored there. The reason why Batavia was turned into the largest agricultural planet in Algol is owed to the work of this Biosystems Lab. However, 2 years ago, an accident that happened in the Biosystems Lab brought about a creature that's dangerous to humans. The Biosystems Lab was shut down immediately, but no report on the cause or remedy have been made yet. Yes, Climatrol. Climatrol is a system to adjust the weather on Batavia. It controls the temperature, maintains the proper amount of rainfall, and so on. Batavia was originally a very dry planet with no natural rainfall, so the existence of Climatrol is essential now. There are rivers running around in all 4 directions, east, west, south, and north, from Paseo's Lake. There are dams built between each river and the lake. They control the amount of water flowing into the rivers. The names of the dams are Green Dam, Yellow Dam, Red Dam, and Blue Dam. In order to enter each dam, a card whose color matches the color of the dam is required. These cards are supposed to be in a control tower, but its location is a secret. Also, the smallest dam is the Red Dam, and the structures get more complicated in the order of yellow, blue, and green. Yes. Mother Brain is a huge computer with enough power to control everything in the Algol solar system. Our lives are monitored and supported by Mother Brain. It was first introduced to Palma in the year 845 AW. Then the network spread to Batavia and Dezorus. It is Mother Brain that controls the systems such as the Biosystems Lab, Climatrol, dams, and so on. Thus, Mother Brain is essential to our life, but nobody knows who made Mother Brain or where it is. How would you not know that? That is like a weird fact. Oh yeah, there's just this big AI that just popped up at some point in time, and we all just started listening to it without any consideration of where it came from or whatnot. I'm sure this will work out great. I will always kind of be struck somewhat by how much the game very much embraced that whole, its anime aesthetic at this point. And if you look at the American box art, it's always just kind of struck by just how much it feels, by how much, like, it's always one of those more interesting things to always talk about or acknowledge, is just how much American box art had a thing of, alright, I needed to look around. Oh yeah, I should also mention, yeah, like I said in the text box on the side, I'm using the Phantasy Star Improvement mod. It does some rebalancing that I'm not really sure what that means, so we'll deal with that when it comes up. But the most important things about it is that it included a doubler for EXP and Meseta, which is extremely necessary, and also it has a number of other improvements. Like you see how I'm rocking around town extremely fast, right? I am like zooming across town. Let's pick up some. For the most part, this is what I will really want in the long run. What I'm really going to want in the long run are healing items and that. Especially since, yeah. Although... you started out with Foy, that's like the fire spell if I remember correctly, and Nay knows res. Okay. So we're not in a bad state starting out. But yeah, I hope everyone's day is going alright. And I assume, right, that's probably Green Dam right down there. Maybe? I don't know. Yeah, both attacks fine. And this is how battles work in Phantasy Star, pretty much. You give orders, and then it kind of runs on auto immediately. And yeah, it just goes. You do have to like press a cancel button, but you can tell them to stop after it turns up. So it's not like that's a real big problem. Another thing I did was applied the patch that reduced the... Another thing I ended up doing was also applied their addendum patch to remove some of the bright red flashing and such. Like, I personally don't need to have... I personally don't need stuff to... It's like, personally, I don't need stuff to... I don't personally need, like, the stuff, like, epilepsy's protection like that, but honestly, some of the flashing you can find in some games is honestly probably way too much, and plus, it at least does anyone a favor if they do come across it, and it would help them out, so... YOLO. Yeah. And honestly, this is a game where I also don't feel any guilt over using I usually wouldn't feel any guilt anyways. But if you like think of like, oh, you probably shouldn't use an EXP or money doubler, it's like, no. This is like one of those games where it's like this is bad. Okay. Some guy's blocking the bridge, and he's someone who's trying to kill May. That is bad. But yeah. It's one of those things, you know, it's... I've tried to play through this game a number of times in the past, and one of the things that stuck with me is just how bad the EXP and money rate is, and it's like it needs some adjusting. So There's like a patch out there. There's like a there's a patch out there that lets you have 4 times. I felt like that might have been a bit overkill for me, but it is an option and might not be a bad idea if you feel like you want that. I wanted an improvement, but I wasn't sure if I wasn't sure if 4 times would have been overkill or not, so. Oh no. That's bad. Plan. Should be good now. This is a horrible town. What's up here? Dynamite did this? Okay. Probably best to just think of it more in case of it just being an explosive and not just dynamite. Okay, so I think I've hit everyone in town. Sword for 1200. Yeah. Doesn't feel like this much. But yeah, like, honestly, it's like one of those things I always think about is like, I've always being reminded of is the character art in this is pretty good. Let's see. Sure. But yeah, remember how someone in town mentioned, that when you reach a new town, go back home? Yeah. There's a knock at the door. I'm sorry to intrude, but I've heard that Rolf and Nay are trying to solve the mystery of the biomonsters. I'm a professional biomonster hunter. I have little talent except that I'm good with the gun. I want to go with you. My name is Rudolph Steiner. Rudolph Steiner, but it's Rudo for short. Maybe you think you know a better name for me? No. Going up to someone's house and going, hey, do you have a better name for me? And I want to join your group. But yeah, this is like the weird thing about this game that can be weird to just... You can just not realize for a while is when you get to a new town, you really do want to come back home because you'll get a new party member. Like right off the... You'll get a new party member each time. And I don't need to worry about equipping him because he comes with his own gun and stuff. Pretty much. But it's one of those things that it's also very easy to not realize you can go back and get a new party member like right off the bat, and it's, yeah. It helps, and I remember the first time I made it through the first dungeon, I didn't realize that's how you got new party members, so I was like, oh. So I was doing it with only 2 party members, and that was not good. No, hey Nick Curry, how you doing? Yeah, that's what it seems like. I kind of wanted to pace it out better, but then I second went, ah, screw it, just do this. I guess half it's because I do have a list of things I want to play, but it's like I end up just going, what do I want to play now? And I want, maybe just do this. Oh, yeah, I am absolutely not afraid to do that when I feel it's necessary, so... I have tried to play Phantasy Star 2 before in the past, so I at least know that the grind isn't particularly pleasant. Was there a save spot in here? I don't think there was. Yeah. Just teleporter and a weapon shop. I don't really have money yet. I think I want to... I'm not actually sure if I should be using foil on those, but if it looks scary, might as well, right? Yeah. I can, yeah. Like, I've never played that far into... I've never played that far into Phantasy Star 2, but it very much tracks with some of the stuff I've seen. I have watched some people play through it, so it's not like I'm completely blind to some of the issues of some of the later dungeons. There's one I definitely specifically remember where it's like something where just they... Well, I know the later dungeons get to become atrocious mazes, and yeah. But there's like a specific memory I have of watching someone play Phantasy Star 2 where it's like you have to do something that's kind of a dick move to do design-wise in a dungeon. Like, there's something like, the correct path is you just gotta hug where you spawn into the dungeon or something and go somewhere and go a direction you wouldn't normally go in. Yeah. Foreground graphics can be cool, but oh god, yeah. You need to, like, not go overboard with them if it's like, the big thing is not going overboard with them. I'm kinda lost right now. I need to stop being lost. I thought I needed to go... I guess I need to try going further east instead, but I didn't think I could squeeze in going east, but maybe I was wrong about that. And yeah, teleporter mazes I know are always just a pain. Hell, my first experience with just trying Phantasy Star 2 was one of the collections of Genesis games that Sega released for the Dreamcast. Do that. And I never really got far in that version of it. I just played a bit and went, "Oh, this is cool." I didn't realize there were JRPG. Well, I didn't realize there were RPGs on the Genesis, and it's like, "Oh, that's cool." Like, the main thing that made me like not really play through it that much is probably half of it is the Dreamcast wasn't mine, so it's like, yeah, I was gonna sit down and bogart it to play this. And I was rather confused at first, and confusion can make me just bounce off a bit, especially back then. I got 500. Is that worth anything? Yeah. In a way, they're trying some different stuff from Phantasy Star 1, and some of it definitely works, others of it doesn't. Like, the battle system itself is pretty much what they keep going forward, isn't it? Like, this like, general set. So they figured this out and go, we like doing it this way. Oh, yeah. It's a thing with a lot of old games. It is a thing with a lot of, like, games from that era and just, like, older games. Like Dragon Quest 1's also one where it's like, there's a lot of there's a number of quality of life things they do that later versions of it do that make it a much more palatable experience. Since, though usually half of those improvements tend to be stuff like, just gives out better experience values. And I'm sure some people might say, "Oh, that's for easy of use," but it's like, no, some old games really just don't have great balancing in terms of how to hand out EXP and money, and half of their designer's idea was, "Oh, well, players can just grind it out." And it's like, it doesn't really make for a great experience. So when a game can actually nail when they start finally nailing like the EXP curves and stuff, things start feeling a lot better in general. Like, I always remember Legend of Legaia. I tried playing that a few years back and ended up hitting face first and going, "Oh, the money curve in this game is abysmal." It's like, you just do not get a lot of money in Legend of Legaia. And it's like, surprisingly, yeah, when you just start looking for that in some ways, you can feel it. So I think my general rule of thumb of money curves is, it may not be a perfect rule, but it's like, if I can just skip out on the equipment in a shop and then have a good job and have an easy time affording stuff, at least afford a decent amount of stuff in the next shop that I come across, I feel like that's a pretty decent way to go about things. And I just remembered when I was trying to play Legend of Legaia, it's like, I went, okay, I can't really afford stuff in this shop, and I don't want to grind, so I'll hold out, and maybe by not buying stuff here, I'll be able to afford stuff in the next shop with these. And I got to the next shop in the game, and it's like, well, the next, weapon shop and weapon shop and stuff. And no, I couldn't afford anything in there. I still really couldn't afford anything in there. And it's like, oh no. And I'm not someone who runs away from encounters like crazy. Like, that's a problem I know I had way back when I was a kid. Like, I'd run away from a bunch of encounters, and I've kind of gotten myself to the point where I can knuckle down and do fights unless I'm playing, like, Final Fantasy V for Job Fiesta. I'll just like generally stick in fights unless I feel I should run away due to just it not being worth it. Or so when it's like if I end up feeling like I'm not affording stuff, it starts to really stand out, especially if I take steps to kind of go, okay, I'll compromise. Maybe I shouldn't be able to buy upgrades all the time. And it's like, ooh. And it's like, yeah. It's like... I will say though, I am real glad this ROM hack just makes you walk around town faster. I ended up loading it up first to make sure. I ended up doing like a quick like test around to see it, make sure everything was working fine, and ended up just being reminded of what the walk speed was, the unmodified walk speed was, and oh boy. I don't know if I will be doing Phantasy Star 3. A part of me is like, I know it is extremely disliked, and I understand it's a very well-earned reputation. But a part of me is also feeling like, you know, just for completion's sake, I should at least play through it once, you know? It's like, unless the game was like absolutely abysmal and bounces me off. Oh shit. Oh wow. Yeah. Yeah. Jeez. Fine. I'm always weird. It always strikes me as kind of odd when the game won't just let me use items in a dead character's inventory when I'm out of battle. It's like, yeah, no, yeah, I know they're dead. I needed to go down that way, didn't I? No, it's like over here. Yeah, I'm kind of lost. I'm figuring it out. I'm figuring it out as I go. I'm figuring it out as I go. Yep, that's it. Honestly, you could probably just kill this. Oh crap, it's every one of those frogs. Just let me run, come on. Could do that. It's like, yeah, in the long run, like I said, I'm not sure what I'm going to do in terms of Phantasy Star 3, but at this rate, I probably will wind up playing it, so... Okay, now I need to do that once more, except not getting myself killed by frogs. I don't think my brain ever even registered that no, the frogs are a big threat. Yeah. If there's any... Like, the main things, like, Phantasy Star definitely has going for it at the time is just the whole... They go really hard in that in their sci-fi aesthetic. They're not shy about it, and they're pretty loud, and they're pretty, like, going, yo, what if we went, like, full-on to, like, a, you know, well, it's a soft sci-fi, but it's a, you know, good sci-fi science fiction angle, you know? And it's like, it works. It would be very, it's like, I will, like, I don't begrudge Phantasy Star on the Phantasy Star Online games, but I do wish we'd at least see like, you know, more kind of like main, you know, at least kind of like mainline entries, I guess you'd say, for Phantasy Star. Although I guess mainline entries nowadays have become like not entirely the point, since, you know, they'd be their own games and stuff, but, you know, just see them go for, like, try to make some more single-player experiences and see how that turned out. But maybe I'm the one missing the point, because when I think about it, it's like... I do also think about sometimes about how some people's, like, favorite Final Fantasy in terms of, like, mainline games is 14, and not because it's a great MMO experience, but because it's got some really great writing, so... But in the end, it's like, even then, I am not much for MMOs myself, so... Okay, once more, and this time if I see frogs, I have Rolf light them up. Also, might also just want to have Rudo further in the front, now that I think about it. Man. Boy on the frog. That's like an AoE attack. Jeez, those frogs are rough. Because, yeah, like... It's one of those things, like, when I think about it, I was like, yeah, like... Because, like, overall... Phantasy Star 1 was pretty rough in some regards. Like, if there's anything I'd say is like the roughest thing about it, is it's like... How to put it? Like, the one thing that always like stands out to me, just like how rough my experience with it was it's like, for the most part, I didn't need maps until like the last few dungeons. I didn't really like need maps except for a few dungeons, and I kind of just wish the game was easier to map. And not in the sense of, oh, the dungeons are less complex, and more just in the case of, I wish I had something like the Wisdom Seed or the Mapper spell in Shining in the Darkness that would let me have some degree of sense of, okay, this is where I'm at on this floor of the dungeon. Okay. Oof. Rip Rolf. Frogs are just really brutal. And thankfully, I do have an escape pipe. Thinking on it, I could have used that last time. Well, hindsight's 20/20. At least I remembered this time. Yeah, we can fight our way through this. And it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's at the very least, like I've learned that like I'm perfectly fine mapping on my own, but it really helps to have some degree of sense of where I need to be placing the map on the paper. And by helps, I mean it feels kind of required somewhat, at the very least, just so I... It's just a really good thing to have. Because not knowing what corner of the paper I should start it in, what direction it's gonna go, is just extremely difficult, whereas, like, all I needed with Shining the Darkness was, well, I needed bigger pieces of graphing paper, but the main thing I really needed, though, was just to know where, let me know where on the map I was at when I got to new floor, so I go, okay, so this is about where I am, and I could just easily box it all in, and I'd be good to go, and it was a really pleasant experience. No, that's very understandable. I mean, it's gonna take plenty, it's gonna take practice, and yeah, you, like what, yesterday's went pretty well, didn't it? I had yours on in the background, so I wasn't paying the most attention, but if I remember right, everything seemed like it went pretty well. I think I remember the Wyvern, like, cutting it a bit close, but I believe you got that down without too much issue. Yeah. I say too much issue after saying you cutting it a bit close, but you know what I mean. Do I have money for that now? I do. Sure, why not? Wait, no, I need to actually... I can't do that yet. I need to teleport back to the first town and buy some more items. Because that's currently what I need for sure. It's on the right side of town. Yes, there you go. Don't start second guessing yourself. Yeah, okay, so you did win that. That's good. Let's see. buy some more monomates. I have item slots, and I might as well have potions. Actually, why am I should just have multiple. This isn't, yeah. Apparently can't guarantee access to a place with a shop, so I might as well have a few escape pipes so I don't feel so I don't feel like it's as necessary to just go back into town every once in a while. Also, everyone's good on HP and yes, everyone's good on HP and TP. I guess the thing I'm also still having somewhat trouble parsing is just the fact that Crystal is a completely useless key item in that mode. I guess it's at least still good for the whole count, but it's just my brain still goes... I think my brain would still go, oh, Crystal, time to go get ready to fight Zeramus or something. But then again, I also haven't played a lot of the Enterprise, so... Oh, the mode you're playing, Potion Party. Like, I remember you getting, like, Crystal yesterday, and it just being... kind of, just, you know, overall, like, all I did was get you closer to, like, 10 key items. Yeah. Especially with, yeah. Yeah. I'll always remember watching the... Pocket linen and bubblegum's probably a good way to put it. I remember watching people do the race. I remember like watching one of the racing leagues that they had on, like, what was it? Speedrunning, one of the speedrunning channels, I think. It was like that one or RPG Limit Break. They had it. It's one of those two channels they had. They were like having the thing on, and the thing I remember most about it is just how one of the possible ways to finish, because like it was like the league where they just get up to, it was Paladin Cecil percent, basically. And the thing I remember most about it was just how sometimes I'd see, well, how a number of times I'd see some people kill the Mylon Z with just the trash can. And it's like, oh, like, what the hell? Yeah. Yeah, hard to fit in the speedrun for when you're already like busy. When you have a bunch of other stuff, you gotta get yourself. You got another bunch of other things on your plate. How are we doing state-wise? Fine. I really need to just not encounter a group of 3 frogs here. Two frogs. I can live with this. This is acceptable. Boy's fine. I shouldn't try to get fancy. And just to try to conserve some TP. Although maybe conserving TP isn't a good idea. Nah, that's a good idea. Let's see. Rudo could use a little more health. Also, I should take a look. Ryuka. I can't know what that's spelled. I don't know what that one does off the top of my head. Well, we haven't actually hit that one yet, so actually, yeah. Finally, a frog fight that didn't end in my party almost dying. Oh, and going right's just a dead end. Okay. I do enjoy how this battle system's kind of just auto runs through like this. Makes it actually surprisingly speedy, and it's just a matter of you not having a really good marker for when turns end, well, entire turns end and begin, though. Plan. Boy on the frog. Yeah, like the only other game I can ever think of that tried to do any kind of thing like the only other game I could think of that tried to like mimic this battle system in a way is Persona 2. I think is the only one I can think of off the top of my head. Just the time, because in Persona 2 it's basically roughly the same thing. You tell characters what to do and they'll do it, and they're at an auto loop until like they either can no longer do the thing or you cancel it and you press a button to re-input the commands. Honestly, I kind of like it. The only messy thing is just, yeah, no real big marker for telling you when a turn is going to begin or end, so... If you let it run a while and go, oh crap, I have to take control, you don't really know how much time you're going to have to wait. Honestly, we should run back and heal. Just what I've been doing is kind of been a bit exhausting for my characters, so taking a step back to heal is would be prudent. Also, maybe get some weapon upgrades. That'd probably be the most prudent thing to do. Don't walk immediately left. Come on. Let's see. We have 1400 Masada. Okay. Let's take a look at some things first. So I think I remember something about how the game works. Also, first things first, how much of an increase in attack power are we looking at? Oh, it's like almost double. And some defense because it's a two-hander. Wrong person, wrong person. So I think this is one of those games where you can just, where if a character doesn't have something in either hand, they can just use two weapons maybe? Or is that just something they can do? Can't remember, let's see. Okay, no knife for her. It was with a shot. But maybe I should buy a steel claw just so I can check. Equip. Yep. Can dual wield, right. Something I feel like I half remembered, but good to see that it was an actual thing, so I'm not crazy. Yeah, this should help us out a lot. And maybe when we get out of this place next, we'll get a better gun for Rudo. Oh yeah, a marked improvement. Not even really using anything, getting to the dungeon now. Please don't split your attacks up, Nay. Just focus fire on one character, please. I'm begging you. Random targeting like that will always be the bane of my existence in some ways. There's no way around it. Keep accidentally hitting the button to keep hitting a button when I probably shouldn't be, but well, yeah. That's definitely a me problem, not the battle systems. I'm just so used to just mashing buttons to just make sure tech continues to flow. Some games gonna get you in a habit, then other games are like, no, 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 don't do that. I bet. I mean, they're pretty good tracks, so... I'll always be extremely fond of some of the Phantasy Star 2 tracks, specifically because of... Oh, really? That's interesting. Be like, I end up being like some Phantasy Star 2 tracks are really stick with me for a weird reason, and said reason is specifically because they're used in a mod for Deus Ex. Specifically the, what was it? It's specifically Oh, right. Frog. Crap. I wasn't even thinking. I need people to attack the frog. But specifically, it's like the weird Malkavian frog that's just a bunch of random humor and recut lines from Deus Ex. It's all stitched together in a giant joke. Uh-oh. This isn't good. Let's try a difference that I wanted to tell May to heal. Damn. Oh well. Just going on it, we should have this. I mean, it's definitely going better. The dungeon runs are at least going better. Just still have some room of improvement of just not getting blown up by frogs. Okay. Just took a second and opened up one of the readmes that came with the patch, and well, one of the readmes that came with the patch is basically a list of what each ability does, what each spell does, what each technique does. So that should at least let me be better at choosing what I need. In the end, I know I'm just... It's like, even for as much as I use that one Phantasy Star Online MSU 1-pack with Link to the Past, I will admit I'm not particularly good at picking up on remixes sometimes. Sometimes I can be great at picking up... lay motifs and stuff, but remixes can usually be a bit harder for me because I usually just separate songs too much in my head. Although sometimes I can be good at picking them up, so I guess maybe it's a bit more inconsistent. Or maybe I'm just a case of being really inconsistent about it. Okay, Ryuka is basically a telepipe. Okay. Okay. Hopefully I can stop eating so much. I can just stop getting my butt whooped by this dungeon and actually make progress soon. Those frogs are really brutal. Of course, maybe the issue is I also need to just upgrade my character's armor. Maybe. Yes, please revive and roll. We're good. I also have enough money to upgrade Rudolph's weapon, so I'll probably just run over and do that quick. shotgun. Oh, it's not a huge increase on it. I think the most terrifying thing is realizing I haven't saved at all yet. I'm just really flirting with disaster. What can I say? I will say though, it's like one of those things, like on the topic of Phantasy Star, music, I do really enjoy just the sound of Phantasy Star 2 for sure. It's a really good twang that adds to the sci-fi feel, which is great. From that, so making good money. I went up and around last time, so what if I... okay. So... Zan is an AoE spell, so that should be a better idea. Yep. That's the solution I need. Yeah, we're fine. We need to go crazy trying to heal yet. We should have firepower, we don't need to use magic for this fight. Oh, shotgun's a group attack too. Interesting. I guess that was just a dead end. I will say, one thing I guess to also say is I'm not really frustrated in the fact that I've been constantly having to leave the dungeon and such. I do kind of enjoy this element of traveling into dungeons where it's like, each time you're poking your head in, you end up having to leave, but you keep making more and more headway. I do like that kind of feel and such for dungeons. Nice. I really just wish Nay would focus fire on the same target more often. Of course, maybe with a shotgun on Rudolph, it's not necessary. I mean, I'm worried that it is, but maybe it's not. And yeah, to just also mention a point you brought up earlier, it's like, yeah, it does in the end really does end up, it's like one of those things I kind of forgot, but yeah, they really does feel like they go way overboard in the overlay graphics. I'm not overlay, but the just, you know, foreground graphical stuff they do, because, yeah. It adds a nice aesthetic, but it does feel like they just go way too hard. Because for some reason my brain was thinking it wasn't this bad, but it's like, oh, no, it absolutely is this bad. Let's see. Headgear. Oh, Rolf doesn't have anything on his head. Yay, just throw that on, man. Sure. What's the right? This looks weird. And weird is worth checking out. Just a pit for me to fall into. Which may or may not be useful. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point I crack open the RPG Shrine page for this game to just try to make sure I'm not getting too lost in the future. I'll probably try to avoid it, but I wouldn't be surprised if at some point I do so. I really need to stop hitting that button. I need to get... I won't stop doing it, but I need to. It's a dead end. It's locked. It won't open. Okay. How dare they use lock? How dare they use locks and keys? The monsters. At least this is going smoothly now that everyone's got better weapons. How are we doing state-wise after that? We're doing alright. I guess Rudolph could use the heal too. Okay, how much money are we at now? Oh, back up to like over 1,000. Cool. Oh, there's a trust over here. Well, I guess that might be the case, yeah. I guess on one hand, one could argue that doubling the amount of Massetti you get from fights might end up devaluing stuff you find in chests. But then again, there's an argument to be made for they should have just given you more in chests. So then I would have come down here. Oh, that's another chest that's locked I want to open. Oh, what did Rolf learn this time? Hinas. Okay. I think that's the escape spell, if I remember right from what I saw in that list, in that readme. Another locked chest. Honestly, these dynamite wielding crazy people are the worst simply because they know how to lock chests. Let's see what we got. So I should go up here then. That's rude. It is interesting that they do. It seems like they set it up so that if the character gets unparalyzed, you're gonna have a moment to input battle commands for him, which is actually a nice move on the dev's part. Okay. It's a rather nice and thoughtful move on their part to just make sure you have an easy to make sure that, you know, you don't accidentally go, oh crap, I wanted to actually change their move. Ooh. Oh, crap. Just making sure everyone knows to murder the frog first. Well, there actually doesn't seem like there was anything interesting or of note that I could access over there, so... It's going pretty smoothly, although I feel like I might be kinda lost, which... yeah. Just a matter of figuring out how do I move forward from here. Maybe I should bust out Zahn for these groups. They're pretty damn annoying. While they don't feel immediately threatening, they very much do wear the group down a lot. Yeah, it feels like over here might be the ticket. Maybe? Maybe. Honestly, so far, yeah, despite how having some road bumps with dealing with the armored ants, we're doing pretty good. I feel like honestly, I should be able to complete this dungeon in this dive, just as long as I can figure out where to go. That frog got to go first, that wasn't good. Yeah. Let's see. In the end, it's like, yeah. I know I ended up, it's like, it really is one of those things where it's... I wasn't entirely planning on immediately jumping into Lagrange Point from Phantasy Star 1 and then jumping into this after Phantasy Star 2. Hi there! Well, I guess the bio monsters took care of the scoundrel problem. But yeah, it's just one of those things. I ended up like sitting there thinking, you know what? Let's just do it now. Let's just do it now. And this is kind of a weird and interesting way for a game to go, because normally, normally bandits and stuff don't care if their, headquarters is infested with an entire army of, enemies. It's like, they're fine, but here it's like, it's written in a way where it's like, oh no, the bandits got killed by all the monsters that are now infesting their base. Which is an interesting way to go, since most games generally never even acknowledge that. Sure, some games just have the bandits be the enemies in the place, but there are a number of other games where they're not. Making plenty of progress at least. Good. Let's see what we got. Come on. Rolf learned a new technique. Actually, info 12. Rolf has learned how to heal. That is gonna be nice. It's got a whole ransom note. Your daughter TM locked in Nido Tower. Pay 50,000 Meseta in 1 month before to see her again. So we know where. Okay, so now we know where TM is. And now that we have the small key, we can open the locked chests. So that's something we should hopefully try and see if we can pull off on our way out. I think we need to, so I kind of just don't want to, you know, have to dip inside this dungeon again if I can help it. I guess just so I can fill the air, I should probably think of something to ramble about, so... I've been continuing to play Library of Arena in my off time. Well, I say off time, but yeah. But I've been continuing to play Library of Arena, and that's going pretty well. I'm kind of... In overall progress, I'm somewhat stalled, but it's not that I'm being blocked from doing content or I'm being, like, gated or filtered out. It's just, I'm in the part of the game where things get really long to do. Fights are just... Because one of the major things I've started having to do was do the final realization fights of the library floors. And those are like an hour-long to 2-hour-long boss fights in and of themselves, and it's like... It's crazy. It's legitimately crazy. I don't hate them, mind you, it's just... They are long, and it is... I ended up checking yesterday, because before I did the... like one of those that I did yesterday, I mentioned in like a chat room once that, oh, I'm gonna get started on this, wish me luck. And then I ended up looking back and when I posted that, it like 2.5 hours had passed, and it's like, what the hell? Yeah, we're good. Oh, Ray learned a new technique. Oh, not Rolf. Ray. Nay. Sack. And that would be... Sack is which spell? Sacrifice self to restore all HP. Okay. For a single person. Not the kind of spell I feel myself use, but well, it's still nice to have. Okay, silver ribbon. That very much goes to Nay. That's a big jump in defense. Maybe that'll help us out. Yeah, it seemed to work pretty well. Also, I really should just top off May a bit. But yeah, like I was saying, it's kind of crazy that it's like the thing that really I sit back and think about it and really end up getting taken aback by is that the game doesn't have a suspend feature. You don't have the option to suspend in the middle of a fight. So there's like those, like I said, they have some fights that can very well go over an hour to possibly 2 hours. And you don't have the option to just suspend midway through. If you quit out of the game, it'll just, that's it. That the fight, you just basically forfeit the fight. And yeah, it's one of those things that I will look at design-wise and go, why did you do this? I mean, if you're going to ask a lot from the player's time, the least you can do is have a suspend feature, because that stuff's actually kind of important. And it's not like it's like a live action battle system either. I guess the thing they were afraid of is of people going out of their way to use it to save scum fights, and it's like, it's a single player game, who cares? If a player really wants to jump through all the hoops necessary to, abuse that, let them. Congratulations. But again, that's kind of my feeling on that stuff anyways. Although I will say, on top of stuff like that, I have reached the part of the game where fights are honestly getting pretty damn tough, and the big reason why I need to, I guess also to go into why it's important that I do these, big hour-long boss fights, is they unlock the final tier of mechanics for a library floor. Because if you saw my stream of when I was playing Library of Arena, usually the way those fights go is you suppress the abnormality, then they get a bunch of abnormality pages that will give you bonuses as the team's as that floor's emotion level increases over the course of a battle. Well, when you do the final realization, you unlock a brand new mechanic called that's basically the ego cards, which they tie into something about the whole setting, but basically they're kind of like big special super moves, and that's effectively you using one of because there's an ego card for each abnormality that's tied to each abnormality, and it's effectively you using each that abnormality's big super move effectively. And they're really powerful. They are really powerful. There's been a few fights there's two really difficult fights that I've had that have come down to the wire that I've won specifically because I was able to bust out an ego page, and that straight up won me the fight. Half the reason they're useful is because they're usually either A, really powerful or potent, or B, they're just a really solid AoE attack. And as the player, even enemies don't get a lot of Well, enemies end up feeling like they have common access to AoE attacks because they're enemies and they're designed to. But you, the player, you rarely get access to AoEs. There's not a lot of AoEs that you can access in just your cards. I think in terms of AoE cards I have access to that I can just put into a deck, I can remember one that I've gotten so far that's just straight up an AoE card, but it's got a rider and that you need to activate the character. Well, both of these are both the ones I have access to are they're exclusive cards, so they can only be used with the character pages they're associated with. That's the first thing I need to come out and really just explicitly say. The second thing is they both have riders before you can use them. One character's is you need to activate their one of their passive effects before it's usable. The other character is you need to play this card the turn before. You need to play this card. Well, the second one is you need to play this card, and when you do, it will remove all the battle dice. When you use that card, it removes all battle dice from that page. But then it gives you the character. But then it gives you the AoE attack to use next turn. Which it's a good AoE attack. It's just they are very careful to not give you free access to that kind of stuff. So it's so very much, the fact that the ego pages are pretty much easy access to AoE stuff in a lot of ways makes them really potent. And when they're not AoE, they're just potent effects. Like, the one I love the most so far is a 3-hit AoE that's just slash damage, and it's all it is. It's just 3 hits of AoE damage. And I slap that onto my person that I've built up to be a complete monster in regards to slash damage, and it's like, it just wrecks people. It just destroys entire teams of dudes. They just get slaughtered by it. I don't know how best to put it. And, alright, the other thing about ego pages is that they're not just one and done things you use once. I don't know how the recharge of them works, but basically after you've used them, and they need like a turn or two to recharge, hell, they might just recharge as you build up as you continue to build up emotion points, because generally when you get access to them, it's like on the last few emotion levels of the teams, so I wouldn't be surprised if some of it's just a case of you'll get access to that as yeah. Dynamite, awesome. That's the important thing, I believe. But yeah, as basically, like, the way ego pages get is you don't get access to them like right away on the first emotion level. I think you need to get up to at least emotion level 3 or 4 on your team as a whole for them to start being given to you. So you only get like 2 of them. But they're really potent. Well, technically, to be specific, you have access to like 6 in total, like 5 or 6 in total, and you only get a selection of 3 to pick each time you can pick. And you only get choices at emotion levels 4 and 5. But they are ridiculously powerful. Like, not even just the AoE ones. Like, there's one that I was also used yesterday that was just 3 very strong blunt attacks. Like, the minimum roll of the dice for them was over 10, which is just ridiculous on something. And they're all also expensive, like, cost, sure, but they're extremely potent. They're extremely crazily potent cards, and I love them. This might also be the last one. Dynamite. Okay, 2 dynamite. I think they said there were 2 sticks of dynamite left in here. Okay. I think that's it. I want to say that's it. Yeah, I want to say that's it. I don't think I can get up there. Can I get up there? But yeah, to me, it's crazy. It's crazy, and I love it. It's good stuff. And I've had like 2 maybe 3 fights that have come down to the wire that have been saved by ego cards. They're good and potent, and I love them. But yeah, it's good stuff. The crazy thing is just, it's like, that's also ends up being why I feel compelled to, okay, if I have access to a floor's final realization, I need to do it, because it gives me really good options involving that floor. Although I will probably favor specific floors, though, because I really like the effect of some of the ego pages over others, but it's still a case of they're all pretty damn good. Just some are more ridiculous than others, so yeah. Well, not less. Some are more ridiculous than others, but some are just more ridiculous in the correct hands than others. Because another one I've liked to use when it's come up a bit is this one ego card that's just it's got like a power of like, it's got a really low power, really low. It's like 1 to 4 single dice, but it has a bonus where it does like 3 extra like damage or stagger damage each hit, and also it has an effect. It has an ability where it just uses itself like 8 times. So you put that in the hands of a character with either like a strong, I think it's like pierce damage, so either someone who's got some good pierce bonuses going on, or just a lot of power dice, extra power, well, a lot of extra power bonuses. And it can just, and that one card can just completely knock some dumbass into stagger, or just murder them if they are in stagger already. Which is a good time. It's like they're all crazy cards that can swing the battle into your favor. And I am at least like halfway, I think I'm, progress-wise, I'm pretty much halfway through the Star of the City. I've got access to the final, there's like 4 branches that there's like 4 story paths, there's 4 story paths, and each one has like, kind of 3 chapters to each, and I've gotten up to like the final one of 3 of them, and one of them's still on the second dot, and that's because I'm just worried I can't do that fight. Well, half of I'm worried I can't do it, but I'm pretty sure I can at this point. It's just, I'm very much blocked from having access to ego pages for that fight, which sucks, but I'll deal. So where are we at money-wise? That's a lot of money. That is a lot of money to have. Let's teleport back to town. Let's teleport back to the main Paseo. Why? For one, because we need to save. I haven't saved at all. Yes. We just need to save. Can I just use the same name? Yes, we're not done yet. But yeah, it's just one of those things, like I said, in the end, end up feeling compelled to do really long boss fights without a suspend is cruel, but that's the way of things. I will say, though, I think I'm at least finally starting to glimpse what people meant when they say the game has a difficulty cliff. Like, in the end, I'm doing fine, but I'm sure that's not the usual case for people. Partly because I am using a no-grind mod, which I'm sure is helping out with some of the difficulty, but also because I do seem to have a decent feel for the battle systems, so it's not like I'm entirely overwhelmed by it. Okay. I figured I'd crack open the README on equipment so I get a see, so I can actually see what these all do. Okay, so the Carbon ML is basically a shield for women. That's good. Helmets is headgear, yeah. Yeah, armor is just that. Fiber coat is an improvement, but honestly not enough for me to care. Okay. So there are upgrades, kind of. There's some upgrades there, but I don't care. I just don't care enough about them. Bye. Just buy some stuff up. Might as well buy dimates since, well, we can afford it for sure. So yeah, just thinking about equipment upgrades, it's like, honestly, in the end, I'm gonna be finding a new town soon anyways, so upgrading equipment right now would be a waste, so let's not. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I will say, I also do know at least one of the other little secrets of the game, which is that this game actually has a save anywhere function, which is nice. But it's kind of a secret, because you need to have a certain person in your party to be able to access it. It's weird. Although I wonder if it might also be mentioned in the manual. I'll next stream I'll crack that open and we'll take a look at the manual, at least why not. I always have some degree of fun looking at those. Boom, 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 boom. That's another dungeon. Am I I sure there's not a town around here? Guess there wasn't. Kind of thought there was. Oh well. It's not that bad if it's not that bad if that's the case. Those frogs still hurt a lot though. Because that's the bridge we came down. Yep, okay, so I guess there just isn't a town. I thought there was like I guess I thought there wasn't more. I was expecting there to be one is a better way to put it. That is a much better way to put it. Maybe dynamite can open this door. Okay. Well, we have dynamite. Even more bio monsters just basically overrunning the place. Still. Geez, though, yeah, these monsters though are also just way tougher. Item, Rudolph. I can, however, I should just make use of these monomates though. There we go. Figured I should just make use of those just so they're made use of. Masada. In progress. Just a matter of just trucking on through this. Okay, that wasn't a door, that was just a wall. Okay. Just needed to be sure. Why is there a bigger, scarier toad? Why is there a bigger, scarier frog? I really didn't need to come across a bigger, scarier frog enemy. But we did. Okay, come on. Well, I found some kind of way up, so let's take it. I will say probably like one of the big shames of my childhood, that, well, not so much shames as in it's a bad thing, but the things that I like look back on and just kind of wish I had known more about was just, I didn't really like, I wasn't really aware of RPGs as a genre until, well, it took me a while before I was even aware of them, and I never even realized they were like RPGs on the Genesis until like way later than that. It was kind of crazy. I say way later since like years and years, but it's like 5 years from being like, well, like maybe finding out about RPGs existing as well. Oh wow. Oh boy. That's what I get for not paying any attention. Oof. I wasn't expecting, well, I mean, even then, I wasn't expecting them to be that scary enemies to go, oh, we just instantly gib you. Oh well, stuff happens. But yeah, it's like, it took me quite a while, like, it wasn't until, like, it was, like, maybe somewhere around 7 until I learned JRPGs were a thing. I think I was on like 7 years old or something. And then it wasn't until like maybe 6 years after that that I then found out about that I actually like learned about Phantasy Star, and yeah. Which is funny, because I knew Phantasy Star Online was a thing, but I didn't really understand where it came from, I guess, at the time. So I guess it's just a weird thought to have. Okay. just because I'm not worried because of those enemies. Let's save again. Let's see, RBF. Gonna be annoying to do this every time, but hey, whatever. It's good. Bum 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 bum. Yep. Still, let's see. Right, there's some of that. But yeah, it's like, surprisingly, it's like, yeah, I was extremely aware of, like, a number of RPGs on, like, the SNES and stuff while growing up, and I basically got introduced to them through the SNES, and so yeah, I just never really thought to ask, well, are there any on the Genesis? Which it happens. But it's one of those things where it's like, geez, it took me way too long. It's like it basically ended up happening because of, yeah, I ended up having, and it all basically ended up happening because Stepbrother got some kind of like Sega Classic disc for the Dreamcast, and yeah. Even then, like I said, I never played them too much. It had, specifically that disc that I remember had Phantasy Star 2, and it had Shining Force 1. I had poked my head into both of those games and went, oh, this is cool. But yeah, it was interesting to learn about them, and I didn't stick with them at all, so it's just one of those things where I stuck my toes in the water, and then some years later I picked up and tried to play Phantasy Star 2 again. I ended up losing interest at some point. But then it happened one more time, and this I think is like my fourth time trying to play Phantasy Star 2. I think this is my fourth time. Probably easier to just say it is my fourth time, because I think that's what it is, so might as well. That's the story I'm going with. I think like the funniest thing too was like arguably my one introduction to my first introduction to like the Shining series as a whole happened via a gaming magazine, and not in a way you might expect. So if there's a gaming magazine I really liked growing up, it was, I forget all the names it went through, but its first name was like EGM2 was what it started, because it was like a spin-off magazine of Electronic Gaming Monthly, with this goal of being more focused on having guides and walkthroughs of games, which I liked and preferred over just reviews. So like having guides, walkthroughs, and tips and tricks and stuff is like far more focused on that than I think EGM's basic thing of just articles and stuff on games and such. So basically the entire reason I ever got introduced to the magazine was my family and I were on vacation And I remember us going into a corner store to like just, I think my dad might wanted to pick up some sports magazine or something at the time. It was like something. And so I took a look around and I saw a gaming magazine that was advertised, that was basically had, you know, Final Fantasy VII on the cover. And it's like, what? There's a 7th Final Fantasy? Because, you know, when Final Fantasy was being first released over here in the West, they truncated the numbers because, yeah, they weren't releasing all of them, so 4 ended up being 2, 6 ended up being 3. You know the story. Everyone knows the story. But yeah, so it's like I ended up walking in, so I'm just in this corner store going, what are they? There's been like 4 other, there's been like 3 other Final Fantasies already. That's like, yeah, there had been. It just kind of blew my mind of it as a kid to see it. And then the parents ended up buying me the magazine just so I could actually continue reading it later on my own and stuff. And they had this section at the back of the magazine. There's like, well, not section, but they had a thing at the back, like this. And EGM2, at least what that magazine ended up being, they had this like, one article or feature thing they did at the back of the magazine that's like a quick rundown of like the end game of a game. And if I remember correctly, in that issue specifically, oh crap, it's these enemies. In that issue specifically, the thing they were talking about at the end of it was the end of the, what was it? No, it was Shining of the Holy Ark. That was it. The Sega Saturn. The Sega Saturn game that's kind of like more akin to Shining in the Darkness than the Shining Force games. Shh, not what I wanted to do. Crap. Plan. There we go. Zon. Build Zon. YOLO, we got this. There we go. Rough, but we did it. But yeah, so it had like a thing at the end, and it's like I never even realized it was a series or anything. I just went, oh, that sounds like a cool game. It's got some cool 3D graphics and stuff. And it's like, okay. Of course, nowadays you ask people, and they might go, oh, it's the 3D of Shining in the Holy Ark looks pretty bad. But like honestly, to me, like ever having seen that stuff before, I went, oh, that looks pretty sweet. And then I also specifically, I believe I remember that, like, also they had, like, another section right underneath it that's, like, another snippet of, like, an end game of a game talking about one of some of the endings in Harvest Moon, I believe. It's crazy to think just how, it's just crazy for me to think back on that stuff and go, why? Just introduced to a lot of stuff via that. It is Daime time, so that's what we're using, because Res is not going to heal enough. I should check. How does Gifoid target? Is that a group or still single target? Okay, it's just a strong single target. If we got Gizan, that'd be better. Okay. But yeah, just thinking on how, like, my own introduction to some things is always just, it's kind of a weird, crazy thing to think about. Because hell, I only got introduced to like RPGs in the first place because my parents went over to a friend of theirs' house to play card games. I guess to play some poker and shoot the shit. And well, basically the best thing they could do with me was have me go down to the basement and just hang out with their kids. And it basically just amounted to me watching their son play Final Fantasy IV and go, holy shit, what is this game? And why does Mario have a mustache? And why is Mario getting into a flying bathtub? Look, the kid isn't... Look, I'll be honest. The kid in me was not the best at figuring things out, okay? Also, you have to admit, if you're not... if you're being like a kid and just only really connecting things to things you already know, if you look, squint, and think about it, Cecil's like sprite kind of looks like a funny looking Mario. You know, Cecil's sprite on the world map and, you know, his field sprite kind of looks like a funny looking Mario if you look at it from, like, you know, the front. Kind of, if you squint a lot. Let's see. Well, at least we're surviving. That's better than we did last time. Bum 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 bum. But yeah, although I do know, like, it's not like this Genesis has a whole lot of, like, standout RPGs. It does have a number of interesting games, though, like... And it's like, yeah, it's got a number of, like, interesting games on top of that. Like, I'll always be very fond of the fact that it had, like, the only good Ghostbuster game back in the day. Or at least only good Ghostbuster game that was available in the US. I remember there was, like, also, like, an actually good NES Ghostbuster game on the... But that was, like, only released in Japan or something. And that was like something that always tickled me pink, because the Genesis Ghostbusters game's actually pretty good. And then there's also the actually good Home Alone game on the Genesis as well. I ended up trying the... So I know I've played the NES Home Alone game once before, and I wanted to try that and see, because my memory was like extremely weird, vague memories of symbols and just not much else. And I ended up loading that up once and playing and seeing what it's like. It's like, oh, that's exactly what the game's like. Never mind. So my half-remembered fever dreams of the first Home Alone game on the NES is like pretty accurate. So it's like, okay. The Genesis Home Alone game's like actually legitimately pretty fun. I do want to show it off at some point. It's what I kept trying to want to do around Christmas. I kind of wanted to do a stream of that, but things kept falling apart and I just wasn't feeling up for it. So in the end, I ended up shelving that. I went all the way back to the start. Well, you know, if we went all the way back to the start, let's take this as an excuse to head back into town and heal up. It feels like at least a decent excuse. I will admit though, like, as I am nowadays, I'm not much into platformers that much. I just, in the end, realized I'm not really into them that much, so... Although it's not to say I completely dislike them. I absolutely love and adore Psychonauts. That game is pretty fun. It's a real good time, and Psychonauts 2 is very much worth your time as well if you like platformers. It's really good. Okay. Okay. I know I could I know I could probably buy those ceramic daggers and that would be an upgrade, but I'm kind of trying to avoid buying them because the sword feels like it's good enough. But maybe they'd be a good upgrade. But yeah, what can I say? Let's see. Trying to think. I will probably be calling stream after we've cleared the next dungeon, which is half the reason why I'm trying to be as push my way through it. Half of it's just I feel kind of tired, so just weird, but whatever, it happens. Because there really is nothing else over here. Which is a shame, because I could use a new town. But we can do this. Come on, just gotta believe. This dungeon will not get the best of me. We can do this. I will say though, it's really not at least the targeting's nice. Well, it's not nice. It's got some flaws, but I mean, I just mean the fact that Nay very much will kill an enemy and then can move on to attack an entirely different enemy group. It's rather impressive from what I've come to expect of older games. Okay, I've learned to just keep older games at a low bar. What can I say? It's just how it works. Ba-da-bum. Bum-bum-bum, ba-dum-bum, ba-da-bum, bum. Also, I think that's where we basically left off last time anyways, so that's fine. Barely any progress lost. Well, like I've said, at some point I'm definitely gonna need to just give playing Phantasy Star Online a try again, but I got like too much other stuff I have to do. Like I'm really trying to push through Library of Arena, then I need to actually work on the whole seeing if I can get a VTuber design set up and stuff. Like that's something I've made progress in, but it's real hard for me to design a character. It is not a skill I have. It's a skill I'm going into with absolutely nothing, and I don't really ever have a good idea as to where to... Whenever I don't have an idea as to where to start, it makes doing stuff makes things really difficult. Especially also doesn't help that I don't really have any, art skills that I've developed, so yeah. And it's not like this isn't me trying to go, oh, art's impossible for me. It's not. If I were to sit down and actually learn it, I'd probably be in a better position than I am, but I don't really have the luxury of equipment and such to sit back and both, learn what I need to and practice. So, I mean, it's not an avenue I can really go, oh yeah, I can do this. But I'm glad. Some of the stuff I have been making somewhat progress in is I've been trying to organize my thoughts more and get ideas to what kind of look I want and stuff, and I'm making some progress. I think I've got a good idea of like a color scheme to maybe base around, but like I said, I have like no real skill or talent. I still have no real skill when it comes to this stuff, and my knowledge is lacking, and I am someone who can very easily feel overwhelmed and extremely self-conscious of how much I don't know about a topic when I'm trying to do something. But I guess the TLDR is anxiety's the worst. That's really the real takeaway. Anxiety is terrible, and it is the worst. It's made a bit more annoying in the sense of, like, I don't really feel like there's anyone I can really talk to, because half of it's because, half of it's because I just don't want to bother strangers with things. The other half of it's also, it's like, how the fuck do we even talk to people about this thing? Something working on it? I don't know. Because it also stems onto, it's like, well, I don't want to get into a conversation with trying to get help from someone and end up with it being them end up doing most of the design work or anything, because I don't want to force it on anyone, because, Lord, yeah. It's just one of those things. But hopefully I can make some progress in that. I really, really want to. It's not something I'm like, it's not something a case of, oh, I'm just losing interest. It's just making progress, and it's rough when I'm just trying to go off the vibes, and I am terrible at drawing, so it's like I don't have a lot of recourse for some stuff. Like, I already know right off the bat, just use Vroid. Vroid's like, yeah. Vroid's like the perfect tool for me, but even then, there's a lot to Vroid that's like, I still need to like learn or get a better grip on. Like, one of it is, like, it's pretty, like, Vroid's just, like, the perfect tool, like, it's also just, like, the perfect tool for what I want, for what I picture, for what I envision. It's, like, it is exactly the right way to go about things, so it's, like, it's not what I'm worried about, thankfully. And I'm sure for some people, there's always the question, it's, like, I don't know how to, it's, like, and I at least know the tools which I need to mess around with and get a feel for. The real big issue in the long run is, like, probably the biggest issue in the long run is just, I don't have, it's, like, the big issue in the long run is I don't really have any good artistic sense built up. There's certain things are definitely not. Well, I don't have any sense, artistic sense built up, and I'm also like, I guess the other thing is, when it comes to like character, like whenever a game asks me to make a character via character creators, I usually go for like the most boring ass options possible. Like I don't usually go with like the defaults, mind you, but I don't make someone interesting or who's like visually interesting or anything. I make someone go, okay, I feel like this is me. I feel like this is a good representation of me. If I play a tabletop role-playing game, 9 times out of 10, I'm just gonna play a human because it's like, okay, yeah, this is me. This is how I feel. Which is like the most boring way to go about shit, but it's just it's just what I feel most comfortable with. Oh shit. Hey, Nay. No, you haven't. Okay, that's fine. And command. Let's go. Go for the bust. There we go. Those fights are the worst. I proclaim it loudly from a mountaintop. Seriously. Those enemies are the worst. You know, why not? Oh, not on Rolf, though. That was a bad move. Oh well. Oh well, but still, in the end, it's like, yeah. The entire thing of trying to design a character is definitely something I need to overcome, which I just need to get used to it. I'm sure some people do completely farm out doing the design to artists, but, well, it's not like I have the money to commission that anyways, and even then, I'd rather go for something that feels extremely like me, so I don't really want to just leave it up to someone else, you know? I just kind of feel like if I should make sure Hey, are you the person I was looking for? TM's hands are shaking. My father's become a killer for my sake. I must stop him. Take me to him. But there are many who hate Darum. His daughter would be an easy target. Rolf puts a veil over TM to hide her identity and takes her to see her father. Okay. Awesome. Time to reunite father and daughter, right? Although I'm worried I'm missing something reward-wise here. But also, screw this place. This dungeon sucks. Let's get out of here. There's bastards here. I hate those enemies. We're leaving. This dungeon's the worst. I don't ever want to go back. Now before we call it good, let's go at least do this so it's done. So we can at least, I guess, end on a high note. But yeah, like I said, it's like one of those things where it's like, in the end, it's something I'll need to deal with, and I really need to, yeah. Of course, first, I also want to plow through and power through Library of Ruina, because Limbus Company has gripped me, and I must get through this. So, in the end, it's my problem, and I'll deal with it. And here we go. What is TM doing? Okay. This is just one of the many tragedies that have come to pass as the world falls into turmoil. Someone must save us. That's extremely intense. That is, yeah. Yeah, a Phantasy Star 2 doesn't fuck around, by the way. Anyways, I mostly just wanted to get that out of the way because I did not want to be starting a stream with that. Ugh. That would very much go, that would be too much of a downer energy. This way we can at least have it here and... Okay, so yeah, it's in here and... I mean, it's not good. It's not good. She committed suicide, and he committed double suicide. It's, yeah, it's not a good time. It's... I don't know how to put it. It's, yeah. It's some heavy... It's really heavy. I mean, she could have taken the veil off. Her dad could have been happy, and they could have probably found someplace far away where people wouldn't have known about him and been fine, but instead chose that way, and yeah. Yeah. Anyways, like I said, I'm calling it good here. Thanks for coming to watch. I'm sorry I started the stream late. It happens, but what can I do? Sometimes it just happens. It's just the way the stars align themselves, even when I don't want them to, but... Next stream will be Wednesday. I'll figure out what I'm doing Wednesday. I think I've got an idea. I think I have an idea as to what to do Wednesday, but this is generally how Wednesdays go, you know? Wednesdays usually just things where they're just flip a coin. It's okay, we're good. But yeah, Friday I will be continuing with this. On Friday, we will be continuing with Phantasy Star 2. 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. I hope to see you there. If you liked what you saw, feel free to press the follow button. Go ahead and press the follow button. Let's see. I feel like I want to raid someone, so I'm looking at what can I do for raid-wise, and it's like, I don't know. You know what? Oh, it's not like I have to worry about it alienating anyone, so I can just do whatever I want, right? Right. So... I guess I'll raid her. Why not? Yeah. I guess they're watching a rerun of an SMZ3 randomizer seed they did, so should be neat to watch. Anyways, thanks for coming to watch. Like I said, I'll be back Wednesday. This game will be back Friday. Anyways, thanks, take care, and hopefully I'll see you again later. Goodbye.